right, just going live on YouTube. Okay, just going live on. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, hello, everyone. Welcome to the monthly coaching call. It has been one hell of a month. Holy, I am so happy that the full moon is over. I love full moons, but the energy was it was borderline too much. So I'm glad to have all of you here. I'm glad that you're able to join me from all over the world. A couple of things to get started before we dive into it. In order to be chosen today, you have to raise your hand in Zoom. So some of you are watching this on YouTube as well, which is totally fine, but you can only watch it from YouTube. If you want to participate or potentially get chosen, come into Zoom, raise your hand. And what else? Upon raising your hand, you are basically giving me permission to have you on camera and to also tap into your energy. So that raising of your hand is giving me permission to basically choose on you and tap into your energy. Anyone who has been chosen before in the coaching calls, please don't raise your hand. That really just gives everyone an equal opportunity to be chosen for the first time. All right, so that's important. And I am doing this on my phone, so I'm going to have to try and tap around and do it to the best of my ability. But, just be patient with me if it gets a little confusing. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for being an awakener, a creator. Thank you just in general for being a member and for being really patient on the move to the new membership program. As anything that is custom coded, there has been, issues and glitches and weird things, but I'm so grateful for the team that I have and super grateful for my absolutely, next level brilliant wife for putting it all together and for being as patient as she is when really rolling out this membership platform. So yeah, just really so much gratitude and appreciation for you guys. That being said, let's get into it. Let's dive into your information. As always, my greatest intention for today is, yes, I want to help you guys at an individual level, but I truly want to choose upon the people who represent the overarching themes for the group. And there's been a lot of them. So I'm excited to get into it. All right, let's go over to the participants. All right, I'm just going to clear my energy so I can choose the first individual. 1 second. All right. First person up, Stephanie. Come on in. You've got to approve my request for a panelist. Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. Whoops, I'm gonna drop my phone.
Awesome. I can see you. I'm so happy we got the video working.
Yes.
Give me a little overview, Steph. What's going on? What's happening in your life? What are the things?
Oh, I can't pinpoint just anything. There's just lots of changes, and I feel like I've been trying to do a lot of work, and I don't know. I don't know. Is there? I don't really have any like specific questions. So
okay, perfect. Yeah. Any major blockers right now, like within the transitions, like overarching themes, like work issues or personal stuff? Any major blockers?
abundance, and maybe like I'm working through like speaking like speaking my voice and just speaking up. And yeah, I mean that, and then abundance, I mean that one I'm like, how am I not learning this yet? I'm just trying.
Perfect.
So yeah,
Let's
cool.
step in. Let's see what's going on.
Okay.
1 second. Mhm, 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 mhm. Mhm. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to give you kind of like just a little bit more of an overview as to what is going on. And then I'm going to tap back in for the actual advice related to that. So this is for sure a starseed issue that you're experiencing. And I very clearly see it in your throat chakra and in your solar plexus chakra. These two are directly linked. So I'm not surprised at all that you're having issues speaking up, but also with abundance, because that's directly related to that solar plexus of, fuck yeah, I do deserve that. And I can manifest that. And then you manifest it. So the starseed issue, and I'm taking a look at your Akashic records as well. It goes back, and a lot of pretty much everyone here is going to really relate to this. And I'm sure a lot of people have been working on both the abundance and the speaking up. So this relates to the star seed contract that pretty much all of us signed when coming to this planet as conscious, high vibrational beings. You decided to sign up to volunteer to be on this planet to help humanity. And there was this undertone of, in order to help humanity, I need to put humanity first. So what happens is we tend to give our power away. We tend to sacrifice ourselves. We tend to throw ourselves under the bus for everyone else. So that's kind of the number one issue, is there's been this theme or this undertone in your life of, I have the best intentions for humanity, so I'm going to put them first. I'm going to put everyone who comes across my path first, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help others, not to help myself, which is fine, contextually, but it's not fine at all when it comes down to every single lifetime you've been sacrificing yourself. Now you've created a whole other issue for you, which is bringing that back into balance. So we're going to talk about what you can do as a starseed to overcome that issue and speak your truth and ask for what you want without feeling fucking guilty for asking for what you want.
Right.
And so the second issue that comes up here is, what was it? Hold on. Right. Okay. The second issue is, because you believe, and this is a very subconscious energy that, once again, you have, but also most starseeds have, because you believe that you have the best intentions in mind for everyone else, there's this assumption that everyone else has the best intentions for you. And specifically, I went to a past lifetime where you were a man, and this kind of feels like maybe 13th, 14th century. You were, I want to say like a businessman, but basically you came from a wealthy background, and like you were the sweetest, like open-hearted, like kindest, most giving person with your money, with your status. And the word that comes up is swindled. You basically got swindled for all of your money because you really believed that this person coming into your life was divine, and you trusted them. And because you had the best intentions, they had the best intentions, and they definitely did not have the best intentions. So I think as starseeds, once again, it's like, oh, well, I want to openly help everyone. And, when I finally muster the courage to ask for help that I need, I'm going to assume that they're going to show up for me the way that I would show up for them. And they don't, because humanity's just not really there. And starseeds are maybe like 1% the 5% of the entire population. So this is kind of what it's almost like. It feels like your solar plexus chakra, your confidence is being guarded. And by being guarded, you're not fully expressing yourself. Like it almost like it gets stuck in the solar plexus and then it gets stuck in the throat chakra. So it's kind of these two blockers or two hurdles that this energy needs to move through in order for you to manifest. You can think about it, you can embody it, you can feel it, but you're not actually connecting it to the physical reality because it's getting stuck in these areas. So let me just follow through in asking, how can you in general, but also how can you as a starseed unblock yourself and actually speak your truth and stand in your power and ask for what you want? And I want to bring up just a human thing that I'm also dealing with. So I'm sure so many others are dealing with this too. I ended up just last week returning something at like this hardware store, and they ended up like on the receipt, it basically they refunded the one return and then they added it back to the receipt. So instead of getting $30 back, I got like $7 back, right? So I got home and I'm like, oh my God, like they kind of messed up and like they owe me another $20. And I fought with myself every single day. I'm like, I don't need that, $20. They probably need it more. Like, and I'm like, why am I so anxious about asking for this money that is mine? And I'm like, what's going on? I finally did it. And it was like the biggest thing in my life. So it's funny how I think a lot of us are dealing with the just asking for what we deserve, and then also confronting confrontation and confronting maybe the embarrassment or the energy of someone else. Like, I don't want to make you feel that way, so I'm going to feel this way instead.
Right.
And that needs to be resolved, because that's not living in a free way, right? So let me just kind of ask about the follow through on what can we all do to better express and center our power and ask and connect those dots. So 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So two things. One, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Make a statement that you are ready to deal with and confront these issues. The second that you're like, I'm ready to deal with my solar plexus, my abundance, I'm ready to deal with my communication issues and blocks, you're going to get onslaught with all of these challenges and moments of anxiety, just like that damn hardware store, right? And so then when you are challenged with that experience, which is beautiful because it's a learning, right? It's a kind of a test, a learning curve. Once you are confronted with it, you have to go into it. You have to follow it through with action. And yeah, it might take 2 weeks of really like worrying about, I can't have that conversation. What am I even going to say? And how do I bring it up? And all of the things. And then finally you go through with it and you're like, oh, well, that was painless. That was fine. And you confront those energies. So then you are stronger the next time that situation occurs and takes place. Okay. So basically lean into the anxiety that's created and understand that resistance and that anxiety is a direct correlation to something that is basically blocked and something that's challenging you. And that's when you're like, okay, cool. This is the direction that I need to head in. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming on and being vulnerable.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then I don't actually know how to move Stephanie back over to a participant. Lauren, maybe if you can try and do that for me, that would be great. Okay, I'm just going to clear my energy and choose the next person. 1 second. Okay. All right. Come on in, Martin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There we go. Hello. And yeah, if you can turn your mic on and then turn your camera on if you feel comfortable, that would be great.
Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic, thanks.
All right, give me the deets. What's going on in your life?
Oh, okay. So I was thinking about this earlier. I'm transitioning into a place where I'm figuring out my gift that I can give to others, because I'm like, there's this thing, like I've found abundance and I understand the energy exchange that happens there, and I'm successful in what I do for a living, but it isn't really helping people.
Okay.
So I'm in the process of transitioning from something in software into a place where I want to help people. So for me to be able to do that, I need to make a lot of shifts, and I've gotten into, like, I've found guidance into what that's supposed to look like and what that can start off being. But I would like to know if the path that I'm on there is ideal, or if there's something that can be tweaked. And then on a more physical level, I find myself where I know that I shouldn't eat certain foods and I should look after my diet better. And I'm quite a heavy smoker and I smoke a lot. So that's something I also know I need to let go of, because the moment I start letting go of it, my energy raises and I start getting like bombarded with seeing things that aren't necessarily there. Okay, not, I know they're there, but you get what I'm saying. Clear audience or clear sentience or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that it scares me a bit, even though I'm very used to the idea and to the energetics of things. The moment I let go of these things that keep me back, then I start experiencing that more. And subconsciously, there's something that triggers me. So I'd rather keep on smoking, rather keep on eating badly to keep that at bay.
Yeah, I totally feel you. Okay, cool. Balance. All right. Cool. I feel like I have a good direction of where I want to go. Let's just tap into the energy and let's see what comes up. 1 second. Interesting. Okay. All right. Okay, so the first thing that I'm kind of targeting and looking at is what that link is for you when helping humanity. Immediately when you were talking, I knew that I needed to go to your cosmic contracts, because there was something about the contracts that you signed to come to this planet where that holds the piece of information of what that gap is for you here. And it may completely directly relate, and it may be so way off and you're like, whoa, I didn't even think about that. But I'm just gonna like plant the seed and like let you have at it. All right. So I'm getting drawn to a lifetime, basically your very last life right before coming to planet Earth. You were, I want to say a male, but they didn't really have the gender norms that we do. You were a Syrian being, really beautiful, but also blue and humanoid looking, no hair, big head, shorter, actually. You were maybe around 5 feet tall. And you were all about technology and all about technology advancements. And specifically, what you were super passionate about as the Syrian being is connecting civilizations to information, basically information dissemination. And something that really like grinds your gears or frustrates you is basically these big tech companies that are not only getting us to pay for their services, but also profiting off of our information, right? And so what I see you doing in this lifetime related to that, like I said, take it or leave it, but there's something here, and it's actually it's almost like intangible. Like I can feel it, I can see parts of it, but they're not giving me the whole picture. So I'm sure that's something that you're going to have to kind of put together or understand better. It feels like it's something small, and I'm talking technology wise. Like I don't know if it's a code or a program. It's just like it fills in the gaps to something else. And it's something that you're going to invent or create, and then you're going to disseminate for free. It also feels like it could potentially be AI related. And once again, it has something about allowing humanity to access things for free. It's just like this dissemination of information. The other thing that they related it to was like, they brought up Napster, the downloading, so that was a huge problem back in the day, but now we have Spotify, right? It was just like mind blowing. It's going to be some sort of kind of little link that you make. Like it doesn't seem huge and complex. It seems small, and it seems like it's going to solve a problem that we have right now. I don't know what that problem is, but it feels like it's going to be revolutionary. And it feels like you have the means intellectually, and then you also have the means financially to put this together, to put it out there, and to basically give this as a gift to humanity. And I want to say that it's going to come around in your life within the next 5 years. It's really going to cultivate. And then I'm really seeing 2025, 2026. It's almost like that's when it's allowed to get out. Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's going to be an immediate thing of like, whoa, because I feel like there's still a game that we have to play, kind of like back in Napster times, like, woof, that was really taboo. But once again, now we have Spotify. That was an advancement that we took. So you're going to be a part of this advancement. And I don't know what it is, but hopefully that kind of fills in some of the gaps for you as far as what your passions were as that Syrian being. Does that make sense to you?
It does. It's almost, because my mind is something that really works well, and I am capable of understanding really complex things. I'm just like a sponge. Everything just seeps in. But I actually thought that this path that I'm on would completely remove me out of technology. But in actual fact, technology still has a part to play in it, because then it basically spits out two prongs. One is more towards helping people help themselves, and the other part is technology related, which is completely within my skill set. So that makes sense. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's something about freedom in particular. It's something about helping humanity with freedom. And I don't know, or sovereignty, it's just, yeah, but it definitely is technology related, because that is your passion. Like that is part of your, and back in the day, technology was books, right? Back in the day, technology looked very different. So you're utilizing basically where we're at in humanity with technology and helping humanity with freedom. So that's going to really come together, but that should give you a couple of the seeds planted. Now I want to really ask your spirit guides, but also kind of take a look at this broader picture of the health concerns. And something that's really come up in my own life, and something that I've observed in many others, and I want everyone who's watching to comment, is like addictions. And it's a very harsh word, but I believe that even if you're not a drinker, even if you're not a smoker, there's going to be something that you keep going back to that you resist. That's what I kind of define as an addiction. It could be coffee. Oh, I love coffee, but I hate that I love it, right? There's that resistance is the addiction tendency that I think that is negative. So let's just kind of tap into star seeds and addictions and just kind of getting healthier and maybe some self-sabotaging mechanisms that we choose to lower our vibrations, that we can exist in this density. I don't know what's going to come up, but let's take a look here. 1 second. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so this makes sense, and it might not be it might not be a satisfying answer. I'm just going to put it out there. So it's not like stop smoking. That is not the answer at all. It comes back to the same information, the same insights that the Galactic Federation and many other beings have been saying over and over again, especially since the dawning of 2020. The information is you are feeling more of a resistance based on your habits and hobbies because you're being made aware of the resistance that you have around the choices that you're making. It is not the choice itself that is the problem. Again and again and again and again. It is not the choice itself that is the problem, even if it is a drink a day or a pack of cigarettes a day. And I know that, yeah, those are all not good things for our body, and we all know that. The resistance that you feel to the habits that you're choosing is the problem, because it's the vibrational frequency of that resistance that's at a low vibration. Like, say, for example, if I meditated for 2 hours a day and I hated myself for needing to meditate for 2 hours a day, that meditation practice, based on the resistance and the perception that I had around it, is now not actually going to be a benefit of my life. It's going to be a hindrance. What we are all really seriously getting tested on when moving into this higher vibrational frequency is, what is the vibration that you're in when making the choices that you're making? It's not about the choices themselves. The emphasis is no longer on the physical world. It's on the vibrational world. It's on your perception. So, as bad of advice as this is, it has nothing to do with the cigarettes, as it has nothing to do with the smoking whatsoever. It has everything to do with the perception. Once you switch your perception over to appreciating, wow, I actually really enjoy smoking my cigarette in this moment because it's allowing me to take a break from tapping away on the computer and doing my coding or whatever you do, right? Then all of a sudden you raise the vibration of the choice that you're making, and then the clarity of, you know what? I don't really need to do that anymore, because now I understand the only real reason why I enjoyed smoking was to take a break with my computer work. Fantastic. Now I can just take a break without the cigarette, right? So you start to actually unpack the real reason behind the choices that we're making and the real reason behind the resistance of the choices that we're making once you raise the vibration of the choice and the resistance itself. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. That does.
Yeah. Perfect. Good.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Martin, for coming on and being vulnerable. And thank you for your work that you're doing for humanity as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. So good. Okay, I'm going to clear my energy and tune into the next person. All right. Come on in, Tanya. Just accept the little notification. And then, oh, hi. Hello. Oh, you're muted. You're still muted. Just click on your...
Talking away.
Go. Hi, now I can hear you.
Hi, I was literally just doing a little thought practice of, I hope the person that really needs to give a message to everyone gets chosen. And then I'm like, I'm gone. Where am I?
So what's going on? What's happening in your life?
It's really interesting that I got chosen today, because I think I've been in all of your coaching calls, and usually I raise my hand, but I'm like, today's not my day because things just feel really good and whatever. And right now I feel really rocky. I don't know if I have a general question, but just in my marriage, I feel rocky just because we're not on the same page. Just a lot of things. And then finding my place, and I want to be making a difference, but I have a lot of blocks with money and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Okay, Tanya, let's take a look here. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So taking a look at your energy, I know exactly where you're at. It's very clear in your aura, but also you are a really, really good representation of kind of where everyone is at right now. There's a very small percentage of even this community that feels like I'm in 5D and everything is great and, things are just moving along. Most star seeds right now are exactly in your position. And I got a really clear visual metaphor for where you're at. On one side of you, this is just a metaphor, but on one side of you, like if you could imagine hanging on to balloons, okay, that are floating. But each balloon represents a different category of your life. Like, say, your relationship is one balloon, and job and money is one balloon, and family life is one balloon, and spirituality is one balloon. And then on the other side of you, you're awakening, you're understanding, the truth. You are stepping into your own vibration. You really want to help. You're kind of remembering that, yeah, I did volunteer to be here. I don't know why, but I'm here. And the weight also of wanting to assist, wanting to step up, wanting to do more is on the other side of you in another balloon. So where I see you at right now is you are being pulled in both directions. You have zero wiggle room to actually have any freedom whatsoever. You have zero capabilities right now, both physically and energetically, to do either or. I believe that upon going through all of these different really icky situations, coming on the other side of it, that we can have the best of both worlds. We can live our human life and have all of that balanced. We can live our best spiritual life and give back and be balanced. And it doesn't have to be in a grand way either, right? It could be small ways. We can have best of both worlds. The reason why you're where you are at right now is because you are enabling the aspects of your life right now that do not serve you. You are enabling them to stay at a lower vibration because at a deep level, you have the most amount of fear, and I don't blame you at all for feeling this way. You have the most amount of fear for, what if I don't lower myself to help them out? What if I don't enable them? What if I let the balloon go? There's so much fear in what could potentially happen when allowing things to just move ahead. You are actually cementing yourself in this moment. And you've probably been doing this, I want to say for maybe a year and a half, right? Like really since 2020 hit.
Yeah.
And I want to say that there's a lot of people like you who, boom, 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 we're getting hit with challenges. We're getting hit with disharmonic energies because we're aware of all the things, right? We're awakened to all the things, but there's such a fear in moving that energy because there's a fear of this is going to get worse. And I don't know if I'm prepared to collapse absolutely everything in my life. I know where you're at. And so what you're feeling, okay, specifically in your body, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Body aches, exhaustion, digestive issues, I mean, skin issues, like you name it. Right now, you're holding everything down as this rock, but nothing is moving forward. And you want to move forward, but you can't because you're holding it all down. The most amount of restlessness. Like, actually, you know what the feeling came to me as, like when I was just tapping into that energy? Oh, it's a gross feeling. It's a feeling of like, and I actually just had this experience the other day. I wanted to release an emotion. I didn't feel prepared to release an emotion. I felt like throwing up, but I didn't allow myself to throw up. It's this perpetual feeling of, I have to move forward. I have to release, but I'm unwilling to release because I don't want to go through the terrible experience of collapsing everything to move forward. Mm-hmm. The problem is that you've been holding everything down for 1.5 years now. And the energy of anxiety, the energy of restlessness, the energy of holding it all in is just crushing you at this time. And you are the only one in this dynamic who is feeling it because you're the only awakened one in your, local vicinity.
Yep.
So you're taking on the burden of all of that for fear of the change. And trust me, with basically changing my sexuality, changing my country, changing my fiance, changing my draining all the bank accounts to follow that feeling of, I don't know what's next, but I know that this isn't it. And making all of those decisions and having to go through the collapse, it was the best decision I ever made in my entire life. And it was quite effortless when everything did collapse. You know for a fact that you are in the relationship that you're meant to be in. If you can go through the collapse, get to the other end, and both of you have changed equally in order to say, we are willing to come together in a new relationship, in a new vibration, same people, new vibration together moving forward. You're scared that he is not ready for that. Therefore, you have prevented that movement. I'm telling you right now, you can continue to prevent it. The crushing feeling, the anxiety feeling, the body issues that you're having are only going to progress. You're going to have weird rashes out of nowhere. You're going to have weird allergies to food that you've never had before. Your body is screaming at you, let go. Just let go and trust the process, trust the breakdown. And I'm telling you, and everyone else who's in this place where you've just been in a holding pattern and you feel it, you have to make the change before 2022. You can continue to hold it moving into 2022. You're starting a brand new year. You're starting a brand new cycle with a ton of old baggage and energy. It is only going to get worse for you. It is only going to be more damaging. It is only going to put you into more debt the longer that you wait. So if it is a conversation that you haven't had, if it is a decision that you've been holding back on, if it's whatever that you haven't been confronting, I'm telling you right now, you've got to confront it, and you've just got to hold the highest vibration of whatever happens, because I don't know what's about to happen, and that's where the fear is. Whatever happens, it's going to happen to the highest vibration for everyone involved. He can move on. I can move on. We can move on together. We can move on apart. Whatever that looks like, you got to stop the holding pattern because it is absolutely damaging you in this moment.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tanya, for coming in and being a representation for the collective.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then just take off your video and your audio. Yes, thank you so much. Oh, that was really good. And man, I feel like we're all there right now. It could almost make me cry. The amount of inner child trauma work, the amount of backtracking, the amount of healing, the amount of flashbacks that I've been receiving recently, the amount of confrontation that I've had to make recently. I can only imagine what everyone else is going through. So you're not alone. Okay. Thank you, Tanya. Let me just clear my energy and tap into the next person. 1 second. Okay. All right. Come on in, Rachel. Go ahead and accept the request. And then if you could put on your, yes, video as well. Oh, and audio. I can't hear you. You're in, but I can't hear or see you. There we go.
Hi.
Hi.
I knew you were going to choose me.
Yay.
I knew you would.
Awesome. Rachel, what's going on? Tell me, give me all the deets.
Okay, so I'm so glad that you also chose me, because what the last person has been through or is going through, I have been through, just a really, really rocky time. I finally got out of it in January of 2020. And that's a whole thing that I would love to write a book about one day, which is also what I wanted to ask you. What is my frickin' purpose?
Okay.
And what can I do to help humanity? I believe I am supposed to write a book about my crazy, crazy life that has to deal with reptilians and my dealings with one. But I feel like there's something else as well. And then I also, because of that reptilian experience, I really need to know what kind of a starseed I am. I have an idea. I have a pretty good idea. I see a lot of things, and especially since that battle, the last battle that we had.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
So good. All right, let's take a look here, Rachel.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on. 1 second. Wow. Okay. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, your mission comes up quite clearly here. Sometimes it's pretty general. Now, I want to say that because maybe you haven't fully stepped into this yet, it's totally open for you. You always have the free will to choose whatever you want to do. There's multiple timelines. Just have to say that because your guides can never make a decision for you. All right.
Right.
That being said, book for sure. And the one thing that I want to say about the book is say it all, like literally say it as it is. Like I still have so much apprehension saying, yeah, we're going to go battle reptilian beings, like it's just the world that we're in.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
Just say it. Just go for it. Right.
Okay.
So what's so fascinating, so it's not just the book, there's definitely a follow through on this. You can start doing this before the book is released, but eventually you're going to niche into one specific thing. And I've never really even thought about this before, but it makes a lot of sense. Your energy is a space holder. Like you're such a very, like, not even like protection oriented, but like very calming, very like, you're a great listener. Like you're great at holding space for other people. Like seriously, like therapist, life coach, like that is your realm. Like you are so good at being that. So here's the niche that I see you going into. I specifically see people seeking you out, especially after the book. But like I said, you can start getting into this before. Specifically women, but men also deal with reptilian shapeshifters and those kind of relationships as well, and the manipulation and the charmingness and all of the BS that comes along with that.
Yeah.
So I specifically see you being the follow-up for people to decompress from their reptilian shapeshifter relationships.
That's awesome.
And I mean, I never thought about that being an actual job before, but I mean, It makes a lot of sense. The amount of people, when I share my own reptilian shapeshifter relationship experience, the amount of people that say, wow, I think that I'm dating, I think my husband is, I think my wife is, which I've seen in both genders. There are so many people, starseeds all around the world, who have been caught up, completely manipulated into these examples and experiences, and you can be the person not only empowering them through that dynamic upon reading and finding your book, in divine synchronicity, but you can also help people decompress. It takes years to decompress, as you know. You're still healing from that.
Yes.
And so and then you can really start to dive in and experience actually, they do have an ability to spell cast. They do have an ability to come into our dreams. They manipulate every single aspect of our entire reality when we're with them.
Yes, they do.
And because you've had that experience, wow, you can help people. And I just want to say too, so the book, okay, I want to say two things. One half of the book is going to be about your own personal experiences. Then the other half of the book is the systemic way that reptilian shapeshifters utilize to take over someone's life and life force energy. So one half is kind of more analytical, systemic, and then the other is, and this is my experience with this system of, first you get them hooked in, then you pretend that you're someone that you're not, and so on and so forth, right?
Yes, so
absolutely. That's you are specifically here to help people with that, and you are going to be booked up for years. Okay. So you're going to have no problem with that. Like I said, I think you can start getting into the life coaching for abusive relationships at the beginning before the book is launched, then niche into, I deal with relationships, reptilian shapeshifter relationships, basically.
That's awesome.
Okay. Then going into your cosmic connections, of course, you've had many. The two big ones that pop up here are Octurian. That feels a little bit more distant to you because it's a little bit more logical, analytical. Like it's a little bit less orientated to your frequency right now. The one that really pops up is a Palladian lifetime that you lived. You actually lived as a Palladian male within the Pallades. So you actually lived on the planet. And you dealt with off-planet relations. Specifically, you dealt with, I don't know how else to say this, but like basically reptilian, Palladian, peace treaty agreements and relations. Okay.
That's interesting.
Now, what was really super fascinating. And so you knew all about these dynamics. And I just want to mention some of the dynamics that came up while you were in that position. One of the main dynamics was you would create a peace treaty with the Archons or the Dracos or what have you, right? The bad guys, basically.
Yep.
And you would realize that as long as there was a strong, confident, empowered, high vibrational reptilian leader in charge, the peace contract, the peace treaty would last a certain amount of time. The problem was that there was always some other, reptilian being who wanted more power, more control, more whatever, and would override or mostly kill off that beautiful leader to be the more corrupt leader. And then the peace treaty would die, and you would have to work with their tactics basically to once again reinitiate contracts. And so you have a ton of experience with that whole civilization in a very out of world sort of way. And once again, I think that you can really piece together these have always been their tactics, and now these are their tactics, from a whole civilization view into an individual personal view that they're playing upon humanity. So that's going to come into the book as well. I feel like some automatic writing is going to come through with that book of like, wow, I didn't even realize that this is what they were doing, but now I'm piecing it together as well myself. You have a good foundation. Way more information is going to be coming through from that Palladian connection. Okay.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'll look forward to the book.
Yes. I love you.
Love you too, Rachel. Thank you.
Yeah.
And just turn off your audio and video. Thank you so much. Awesome. Oh, so good. I am so excited for all of the new job positions that are going to be created in this new environment and frequency. Let me just clear my energy and tap back in. All right. Let's bring in Lisa. Come on in, come on down, come on up to the stage. Hello. Oh, and you're muted. Hi.
I love you. My name is Lisa, and just listening to everybody. And since about 2019, 18, I started like my dark night of the soul, and I've been through so many like running etherical jump off cliffs, knowing that I'm gonna land okay.
Yeah.
And now, as of Monday, I lost my job
Okay.
of 31 years due to
Wow.
the state. And I felt a huge weight be lifted.
Mm-hmm.
But now the waves are so much.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what to do to settle the waves.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay. What is the job that you just got let go of?
I was a registered nurse for 30
Nurse,
years.
yeah.
I delivered
Yeah.
babies for 25 years, and I took care of hospice patients the last 6 years.
Wow. Okay.
And so, it was kind of really disappointing because I was taking care of the people who were dying of COVID and being tested weekly. And I have a positive antibody test. And now I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And so I stood up what was right for my sovereign self.
Yep.
And feel completely secure in that.
Yep.
And one morning I'll wake up and I'll just feel like everything is bright and all okay. And then the next morning I'll just wake up just achy, like I fought all night, and just like, I don't know. I also have a energetic healing business.
Okay.
And that I've been doing for the last 3 years with that. And I really felt like I was really guided to that. Like it just opened up, just like boom, boom, boom. And so I feel like that's where I'm supposed to go forward.
Yeah.
But there's so much coming in, psychic attacks, just trying to keep me ungrounded.
Absolutely. Okay. One more question for you. What kind of energetic healing do you do?
I do. Well, I started as a Reiki master 35 years or 25 years ago, but also I do trauma healing.
Okay.
And inner child, trauma healing, all kinds of trauma healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And intuitive coaching and some channeling.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, let's tune in, Lisa. Let's just get you all aligned and let's see what's going on. All right, 1 second. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. So the first thing that I want to relay to you is this is, upon looking back on it, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. Okay. Because even though you're so good at what you do, you are so good at helping people. You are so good at holding space. You are so eclectic in your skills and abilities. And you're such an empath. I mean, that is so clear. And you are a healer through and through. that job was keeping you limited in so many ways. And the biggest way that it was keeping you limited is, one, how much you can make, the time that you spend in it, and the energy that you put into it. You haven't been able to step into your full mission because it has been taking a huge space in your life. So you needed to go through all of this. And it's okay, there's a lot of pieces of information. One part right now is you're getting triggered back into a lot of old fear. And this is actually a really good statement for all the other starseeds in the room right now who have also been affected by the mandates and obviously not choosing the vaccine. Because we've been on this planet, because we have been suppressed, repressed, oppressed in experiencing and living and speaking our truth, by you getting repressed in this moment of, I gave my whole life to this job, and all of a sudden I speak up and I ask for what I want and I don't get it, right? So you're getting triggered into all of those lifetimes where you got shut down for being who you are, for making those choices. Especially being a woman and, not being able to vote and other things like that in past lives. So a lot of that trigger, a lot of that trauma is coming up in you right now. It's a lot of the waves, okay? A lot of the other waves that are coming up in you is, well, a lot of things. There's a massive amount of healing that needs to take place in your physical body, especially because you have been outputting so much to so many people for 30 plus years that you actually haven't allowed yourself to heal. All of a sudden, that distraction of a job is being taken away from you. And you're forced into, now I really got to step into my mission, which is in the same realm of helping people. But wow, I really need to heal myself. We don't realize how much we put our body through and our energetic body through until we're not putting it through it anymore. So what I recommend for you is, what I'm really feeling is about 3 weeks, potentially longer. I would honestly say 3 to 6 weeks, okay, of healing, of just healing yourself. And yeah, you can start to come up with a game plan, within that time, but seriously, it has to be just you and you alone. Okay. Okay, so that's that. The other thing that's really coming up for you as well is your throat chakra stuff and also the empowerment stuff, which is what we went into with the first person that came in. You're getting once again tested in speaking your truth. And it's funny. So the reason why 30 years ago you chose to do Reiki and energy healing other than something else was because there was so much fear in you of speaking your truth, of speaking what you feel, of speaking the information that comes through. You're like, I'm not going to tell you what I feel. I'm just going to show you what I can do. And this is also what you've done with nursing and hospice and all of that as well. And so I want to say that moving forward, okay, so like I said, looking back on this, it's going to be like, wow, I'm so happy this happened, because it could have been another 30 years of being stuck, to be honest, in that position of, I'm just okay because I'm just here and I'm still helping people and I'm getting a paycheck. Moving forward, you get full freedom. Every starseed deserves that full freedom. It's a little, it's tricky in that transition. I see that you're always going to be a healer, but I really see that you're going to really step into the speaking role a lot more than just the energetic healing. So you said that you channel and things like that, and that's very clear in your energy as well. Everything that you've done in your work capacity, you're going to be pulling into your spiritual space, your spiritual practice, hospice things, people who are afraid of death, especially with COVID. That's a huge, especially with the vaccine, that's a huge fear that people have. You can help people transmute that fear of death because you've been exposed to it, because you have that experience with it. Not only that, but you've had an experience with life of giving birth. You can help brand new moms, right? Navigating, dealing with the pains of birth and all of that, and the traumas associated with childbirth as well. you haven't really stepped into that because of the throat chakra blocks of I've never really been listened to whenever I do open up my throat chakra. So why bother? And then also you've done that for a living to such a capacity that you're like, well, I'm not going to start teaching about this because I do it on the daily. And now you have the capacity to say, I can take everything from this resume and apply it to my spiritual gifts and spiritual healings and what have you. It really feels like you're going to be opening and unlocking this, as well as opening and unlocking the solar plexus. And you're going to be helping people at a much more verbal level than energetic. Yes, the energetic healing does need to happen, but there's so much value that you can give based on your experiences and your intuitive connections that's really going to come through. And I do feel, yep. And I do feel in you as well, super, super angelic vibrations, super angelic connections. Like you are very connected to the angelic realms, and you're really going to be melding with that and working with that and bringing that through moving forward into your work. You are just going to deep dive into the work. And I recommend anyone who's watching this to check out Lisa and to contact her for healing, because you are so good at what you do, and maybe contact her in 6 weeks' time. So Lisa, do you have a website? Do you have a place? Do you have an Instagram? Do you have a place that people can go find you?
I do have a place. I have a website. It is called soulsourcereiki.com.
Amazing. Amazing. Did that all resonate with you? Do you feel a little less wavy, a little less overwhelmed?
It reinforced everything that I felt. And if you were to see my Reiki office, my Reiki office is just filled with angels.
Amazing. Of course it is.
I work with archangels all the time. And
absolutely.
When if I ask you just real quickly, what sort of, do you think I just come from the angelic realm, or do I have a planetary starseed planet?
Oh, I would say that the number one connection that you have is the angelic realm, without a doubt. You have many other kind of cosmic connections. That's the number one that you can focus on. But something that came through, just one more message about kind of where you're going with your practice. You have to make sure that it is as open as possible, because you're so multifaceted. It's definitely not just Reiki. It's definitely not just angelic healing. It's definitely not just channeling. And it's definitely not just pulling upon your work experience. It's all of it based on the client that comes to you. So take your time, healing yourself over the next 3 weeks, especially when you feel like going back into it. Put yourself out there, because you're also breaking through the block and the fear of, I'm going to get ridiculed, I'm going to get persecuted, I'm going to get killed if I put myself out there to a certain extent. So you have been holding yourself back and playing the game of, I'll just be a nurse, I'll just be over here, I'll just be in 3D, and no more games. All right, Lisa?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and coming on. And go ahead and mute yourself and turn off your video as well. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I just love this so much, you guys. I feel a kinship. I feel a connection. I just feel like we're all the same, like we're all going through all the same things, and having this sort of coaching call and this experience and this connection with all of you just reinstates, okay, I'm not crazy. Everyone is there too. So I hope that today gave you all a super deep, amazing reflection. We're a little bit over time, but I really feel called to choosing one more person for the coaching call. And then of course, I'll see all of you next month. Let me just clear my energy, tune in, and then I can choose the very last person for this very special coaching call, as always. So 1 second. All right. All right. Last but not least, come on in, Ashley. And of course, you guys, we will be back next month for another coaching call. So don't feel discouraged if you were not chosen today. You definitely have many more opportunities. And I hope that eventually, when things kind of settle down with the membership, I can for sure open up more coaching calls as well. Hi, Ashley.
Hi. That's amazing. Just like everyone else, I knew you were going to choose me.
Yeah, incredible. I love that intuition. What's going on in your life? Give me all the deets.
Okay. Well, I actually feel really good myself. I'm in a great place. However, I feel like there's lots and lots and lots of fires and kind of crazy situations going on with all of the people that I'm very close to, friends and family.
Yep.
And it's hard holding space for everybody. And, you know, I feel like I'm like kind of transmuting some of the trauma that we've collectively gone through, yes. Like as a family unit, you know, and they're not there yet.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah. And I just, you know, my daughter and I have a wonderful life and we, you know, are enjoying homeschooling and all of that, but I'm just kind of curious if there's anything that I can do to further help others or help bring people out, or kind of general advice would be great.
Perfect. That's great. I think that is the big theme that everyone is going through right now is family stuff. Not only that, but just people in general. Yeah, I mean, in my own life as well, I had to basically tell my best friend, I'm like, I can't give you a session right now because I'm doing my own healing. And I've never said that before, you know, but there's that communication of, no, I'm at my max capacity and I can't keep giving. And those healthy boundaries are important, but I also feel like I could have said that maybe 2 months ago as well, right? So let's just kind of tune into this energy and let's see if there's any other kind of messages for you and maybe your daughter as well. Okay. But definitely the healthy boundaries and the navigating everyone else blowing up around you is like so dominant in so many people's lives. So let's see, you know, what the messages are around that. Yeah, just 1 second. And if the rest of you who are watching this are going through that experience, definitely comment and chat and share your experiences, because it's so helpful for us to know that we're not alone. Mm-hmm. So 1 second. Okay, so here's the information kind of at a greater level as far as holding space and supporting the ones that we love. The number one message is it should always be balanced, and it should always be balanced the entire way through. And the balance that they're specifically talking about is how much are you receiving and how much are you giving? Mm-hmm. Now, of course, with the majority of the people in our lives, it's kind of like, as an empath, we know already that they don't have the capacity to give us what we need, mostly emotional understanding and holding space for us. So we're like, I can do it myself, or I can go find someone else to do that for me. So even if you feel like you cannot be supported because of lack of capacity in the people around you, then make sure that you're giving back to yourself just as much as you're holding space and giving to others. Okay. Upon holding space and giving to others, there's a lot of breakthroughs and downloads and realizations that we make of like, oh yeah, I've been through that, but now I'm on the other side of it. Or, oh, I understand the lesson that you're learning and I can give you advice. So there's also a lot that we are receiving in holding space for others as well. Not to say that we're just martyring ourselves all the time, but there needs to be that constant checking in. And I think where we get caught up is what we actually started this whole coaching call with, which is the guilt and the obligation for thinking, well, I can help you, so I should help you. And it should never be that way. Just because you can doesn't mean you always need to or you always should. Always checking with yourself. Do I have the space in myself right now to hold space? Do I have the capacity right now? Do I have the energy right now to hold space? And if you don't, you need to be open and honest with that person or those people to say, I'm so sorry, but I'm just so tired right now. I can't listen to, the fight that you're having with your neighbor, right? Or whatever it is of the negativity and the blowups and the situations. It's okay to say no. And the more that we're okay saying no, the more liberated and free we become, and the healthier the boundaries we create, and the more we actually help that person learn their lessons as well, because we're not always enabling them, which is actually a theme that's really come up in this coaching call session, is holding space for others and martyring ourselves or throwing ourselves under the bus while we hold space for others. The balance is so incredibly key and necessary. There was something else that came up with that as well. Just one second. Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, cool. There's another kind of more like complex or intrinsic part to these dynamics. And I haven't even thought about this, so this is brand new for me as well. Okay. The second that you focus or you think about someone else's situation is the second that we entangle ourselves in that situation. So as we know, our focus, our intention creates our reality, right? And so even though that dynamic has nothing to do with you, the second that you get hooked into helping someone else out, you bring your focus to that direction. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I don't know why I feel so anxious right now. Oh yeah, it's because my neighbor's having a fight with the other neighbor. And it has nothing to do with you, but you're taking that on, just like you mentioned, right? You're transmuting, you're the filter for all of that BS that's taking place. We have to be aware of where that focus is directed and how much energy we're giving that thing as well, or that dynamic. So just like you can go back to, oh yeah, when my life was blowing up and I was asking for help, 50% of the time the help was available and you got it. And maybe you felt bad for needing someone's help so much. And then 50% of the time the help was not available and you had to figure it out on your own. Think about that in the same capacity when you're helping others. Oh yeah, I have said yes 100% of the time. Maybe it's time that I start saying no to help them help themselves. And that is the ultimate liberation, sovereignty, and freedom. All right. So hopefully that gives you some good advice, and everyone else that is dealing with these kind of intrinsic dynamics.
Definitely. Right? Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And then I actually wanted to tap into your daughter. So is this your only child?
Yes, she's my only. I have 2 stepdaughters as well, but she's my only child.
Biological. Yep. And how old is she?
She's 6.
Okay, great. And what is her first name?
Harper.
Harper. All right. Just one second.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I see definitely her energy and then also her like mission. I would say this would be like mission, yes, but also like special skill and ability. She has what you have, but like times 10, all right? And you are in her life, obviously as her mother, to help her navigate her ability. So this is like the word that came up for her. And this is actually something that many, many starseed children have. So this is going to be really useful to other parents who have young children who have the same sort of dynamics. So Harper is what her guides are calling a purifier. Like, it literally, the image that I got was like, if you could imagine a water bottle filled with like dirty, murky water, and then you drop this little like purifying pill into it and it starts bubbling, and all of a sudden the water becomes nice and pure and like beautiful. So you do this, like, this is literally what we were talking about with family. It's like, okay, cool, like I'll just bring it all in to transmute it into a higher vibration. Your daughter does this at a much bigger level, and at a much deeper, more sensitive way. So one of the things that I've actually recognized in a lot of starseed kids is they have crazy temper swings, and it gets a lot better when they get older. But a huge reason why they have these crazy just mood swings and things is because they're taking on, especially when we talked about within this past month, like the dark agendas trying to emit these pulses of fear energy, and then opening up portals and like bringing dark stuff through the portals, and then basically people, starseeds, getting attacked. So during these huge pulses of dark energy, people like your daughter are going to be heavily affected, heavily psychically attacked, crazy dreams, just lots of stuff. So what's really funny is you do a really great job at protecting her. Like, you are such a mama bear. You are all up in her space of protecting her energy, which is fantastic. So she might not actually have the crazy swings that a lot of these other kids have because their parents aren't as aware or as kind of protecting as you are. However, actually what your spirit guide said was same thing. You're raising your vibration to her level. You're enabling her to be in this bubble of protection, which doesn't actually allow her to navigate the darker energies. So what I recommend for you, instead of saying, I don't know what, if you say this, but for example, saying, oh, sweetie, don't worry about the bad dreams. It's all going to be fine. Instead saying, yeah, you know what? Like, there is darkness out there in the universe, and that is just the reality that we're in. And here are the things that you can do to navigate that darkness. So instead of preventing her from seeing the uncomfortable truth of this reality, she is getting to an age where you can present, yeah, I mean, darkness does exist, and this is how we tackle that darkness. She is going to need to know how to, healthy boundaries are going to be everything for her in such a big way. And then just cleansing that energy, crystals, essential oils, taking walks, stretching, all of that is going to be incredible. So with the homeschooling, also incorporating basically energetic teachings and techniques as well on how to shift that frequency. Everything that you've been doing times 10 is what you can really teach her with. And I see that you have already been teaching her with that. But this, and so yeah, she's got this really soft, beautiful, divine feminine healing energy. And it's not even that I see her later down the line in her adult life going into like a healing practice, which she totally could, but it's like she could actually go into the depths of the beast, so to speak, and transmute the energy. Like, she's powerful enough to work in corporate and say, yeah, I'm here and I can be in the face of darkness and I can totally just stand in my own power because she emits such a pure essence. So just know that she actually doesn't have to be in the spiritual community in order to create and change and shift that frequency.
Wow, that's amazing. You're describing her perfectly. You really are. Oh.
Yeah. Incredible. Well, thank you so much for being here and
so much love
for being that reflection, absolutely, for everyone else.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, as always, thank you everyone for being here. I really, truly appreciate your presence. I really appreciate you guys being a member as well. That helps me help humanity, and I cannot thank you enough for your monthly donation and for your patience when we're rolling out this brand new membership platform. It's been a huge undertaking, and I'm grateful for the team that I have in being as patient as they are in navigating all of that. So as always, keep up the good work. I love all of you so, so much. And until next time, I will see all of you in the fifth dimension frequency. Bye for now.